Well, he attack me. But Jaden Chase, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
What you talking about is Jaden Place. See me up to the time, a cartel. I represent for Jaden Chase. We spray them face on the AK rays. See me up to the time, the Gaza station.
Act, of course, which is unlawful and also points to the injustice that takes place in the Jamaican court system. Something that international fans and supporters are not aware of. The level of injustice, the fact that evidence used to secure a conviction against an innocent individual was tampered with, both at the investigation level with the police department and even at the level of trial, where evidence was collected from Digicel Towers, which is a few blocks away from the courthouse, and was lost on arrival at the court. Things of which the people, the perpetrators of these crimes also, they have never answered for these crimes. The officers have never been charged. And that is also evidence tampering, which we can identify the officers who were supposedly the ones who went to retrieve the evidence from Digicel headquarters. We're supposed to know exactly who those officers are. And we have to also point to the fact that all of this is simply because Vybz Kartel pointed out that he knows that he was targeted by the state. Something which fans of the dancehall megastar and cultural icon have always talked of. An act which is of course unlawful and also points to the high level of injustice and corruption taking place in the court system on the Jamaican islands. The state used evidence in court to secure a conviction of an innocent citizen that they knew was tampered with even the judge that was presiding over the matter saying that what had taken place with the evidence itself was questionable. Now, aside from having corruption taking place at the investigation level when the case was being built, there was still corruption even during the trial, as evidence was collected from the Digicel headquarters and was lost en route to the courthouse, which is just a couple blocks away from Digicel headquarters. Now, to date, these officers have never answered for their crimes, because clearly this is what we can consider as evidence tampering. And while officers could not be identified at the station where the first set of corruption took place, these officers had to sign when them collect the evidence, and they would have to sign when them drop it off. The court and the state know exactly who these individuals are. To date, still no charges. Now, in the first part of the interview, Vybz Kartel pointed to the fact that he knows that the state went out of their way to not just target him, but to fabricate a case against him. Something which fans of the dancehall megastar, the cultural icon, have always talked about. The fact that his initial arrest was about possession of herb, which quickly turned to murder, and also conspiracy to commit the act, which was used to charge his co-accused. The good thing is the proof is there, nation. Now Isaac Buchanan has confirmed that international experts from England did indeed find that, of course, as we knew, and even the previous defense team, Bianca did point it out, said there was tampering, and she knew, she was adamant about it, that tampering did occur, and she presented these findings to the judge, who overlooked them. I'm going to point that out, too. She did point that out. She pointed out even upon her interview with Television Jamaica. It has been confirmed and documented, and all these will be added to the Privy Council file. I guess what they get the state upset is the fact that this time fans worldwide hear it for themselves that the teacher was indeed set up by the state from the initial stages of his arrest right up until his conviction. And right now, freedom is a must. When all of these unlawful occurrences are presented before the Privy Council, it will be looked at for what it is. This case had nothing to do with the evidence being presented in court. This case had nothing to do with the charges. This case was a witch hunt, something to get Vybz Kartel off the streets and to silence the superstar. It had nothing to do with any individual missing items valued at less than it takes to service Vybz Kartel's vehicles per year. But if you look on the situation, what was used to justify a conviction that was clearly unlawful was the media. And because in this day and age, people get their news and their information from global sources outside of the reach of the Jamaican state. That is why they did so upset about a Fox 5 New York interview, which them couldn't do nothing about. Them couldn't try to say, alright, they must edit out that tech. No, they had no controls over something where take place in a foreign state. And the fact that the teacher used the opportunity wisely to also point out the injustice where take place in the case. The fact that he knows he was targeted. These are the things that them hate. The fact that Lisa Evans showed the way. First world news reporters present a story unbiased and unfiltered by state regulations. As unknown to most Jamaicans, majority of our major tabloids are either state-owned or the state has a stake in those companies. And the way the information is presented to the people is tailored to the government's liking. Buju talk about it. It our Buju talk about and them said the media blackout. The fact that our local stations choose not to bring certain stories, whether local stories or international stories that highlight the corruption taking place in our own island. Them choose to make sure say the people them not see that it not affect them when they make decisions. When the state are trying to get them to do what the state want them to do. Not what is probably in their best interest, but what is in the best interest for the state. As I said tonight, definitely look out for it. This interview is set to be very interesting. I'm telling the nation. And as I say, for those residing on the island, they can see the interview live. Download the app. It is available in the Play Store. Grab the Fox 5 app and then, tune in as stated. You get to see what I want. Make sure so now stream Vybz Kartel album. Born for this. Another cultural dancehall masterpiece from a dancehall king himself. The teacher never miss. No matter the subject matter, no matter the feature artist, the teacher tracks never miss. And this particular album release is nothing short of superb. I tell you, this is definitely a dancehall must-have. And nation, talk to me. Tell me what you feel about the fact that as soon as part 1 of the interview was shown, Vybz Kartel pointed out the fact that yes, he was targeted by the state. A certain Jamaican tabloid, we're going to state that forward out and start to make up a whole heap of noise about probe and launch of investigation into this and into that. Do you think it was simply because of the information being presented to the fans, to the people, to citizens who were in tune to hear what it is that the general himself, the teacher, had to say? Talk to me in the comment section. I'm on the field. As I'm say, this exclusive is set to wake up the music industry once again. I'm not telling like the first from part 1 of the interview we dropped. It was the most talked about interview, as Vybz Kartel interviews always are. As I said, the articulation, the expression of thoughts and ideas, whether through music or through just an interview, when we are talking about Vybz Kartel, is definitely a different case from every other artist and individuals who we have seen or heard do an interview. And it's also a fact that the subject matter can change. With Vybz Kartel, you cannot talk about music, what going on in the world, what going on with the state, and numerous things. And I guess that is why Vybz Kartel interviews are always that much more interesting than just that of a regular entertainer. But I said the one called Jaden Chase, the dancehall correspondent, the guys represented by Sam Mind, if you're into the channel, into the movement, just a pass through, but you like the reason and of course you like the point of view, well, I'm suggesting to you that you click the subscribe icon and then the bell icon and put it on all. And this is how you know you'll be notified of all fresh content as soon as fresh content is uploaded and made available for you right here upon the platform. The like icon is also in close proximity to the share icon. Drop a like and bust a share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell them sister and then brother them. So check out your channel, check out the region, join the discussion, comment section on 24/7. You never lack yet. Just be respectful and mindful of the guidelines. But other than that, drop your thoughts, your comments, and yes, your opinions. We can continue the reasoning via the comment section. You know there's something going for those who don't. You may now move settings from, and no, we don't need no ladder. And my sentiments for you and yours is, of course, we're gonna live, love, and prosper until we reason again.